We have now the topic presentation on how I accepted Ahmadiyyat by Ali Murtaza.
Assalamu alaikum. We have heard a lot of speeches, and all the speeches that we have been referred to has been about the Prophet Muhammad and his second coming. One of the prophecies of the Prophet Muhammad was that I shall cause thy message to reach the corners of the earth, which was revealed more than 100 years ago, before many of you, if not all of you, were born. Today, I'd like to introduce to you a manifestation of representatives of this corner of the earth that have recently come into Ahmadiyyat and has made Ahmadiyyat their choice. From the great city of St. Louis, the gateway to America, I introduce to you Mr. Atao Hadi to give you a brief presentation as to how he accepted Ahmadiyyat.
Assalamu alaikum. I signed Bayat March 21st, 2010. It was a choice that I wasn't ready for, that I didn't know that I was ready for, except I talked to a few brothers at the masjid in St. Louis. And I had no knowledge of the Ahmadiyya community. I had once prided myself on my knowledge of theology and religion, but knowing the knowledge of this Jamaat, I did not know until a brother told me that the Ahmadiyya community was one of the first Islamic communities in the United States. I was following the teachings of Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam when I was younger, but I realized that left me unfulfilled. So I really didn't claim any organized religion. So I was pretty much lost for a number of years. And I accepted Ahmadiyyat because I've read a few books by Hajjat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, and one book in particular was given to me as a gift, was Invitation to Ahmadiyyat. I read the book, couldn't put it down night, day, highlighted certain key points, and went and talked to Brother Abu Bakr Lad, and the knowledge that he shared with me it was a treasure. And so earlier that March, he had gave a short khutbah on a Sunday afternoon. And one thing I didn't know that he enlightened me was that other Muslims would dislike me if I made this choice. And being a student of history, I know that those that are on the path of truth are usually persecuted by those around them. So I knew that if I made this choice, that I would be disliked. But I knew that choice would be the right choice. And when I signed Bayat, my son saw the change in me and also wanted to accompany me to the masjid and actually changed his life as well. So most of the time it was just me and my son going to the masjid. And my wife asked, and the time she spent with the sisters, it enabled her to make the right choice also. She signed Bayat August 9th of last year, and being a member of the Ahmadiyya community has enriched my entire household. I am grateful, and I would like to contribute and be an active member continuously, inshallah. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Zindabad. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And now, from that great bluegrass state of Kentucky, I'd like to call Mr. Joseph Seeger to explain how he accepted Ahmadiyyat.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my brothers. Is there a doctor in the house? I'm just kidding. You know, I've thought about this a number of times, and there's many reasons why I accepted Islam Ahmadiyya, but I've been able to follow it back to one source, and it's I keep getting back to the Holy Quran. As a fan of science, a student of human behavior, spiritual pilgrim and apprentice, lonely traveler, a seeker of truth, it never disappoints me. It turns my cold heart soft as sand. It has enlightened me. It has granted me insight. It's increased my intelligence, my memory, and it's changed my perception and how I see the world and how I see people, how I see God, how I see His prophets. I don't think I'll ever be the same again. I can't cover up truth anymore. It screams in my head. It is it's become my unclimbable mountain. Mount Everest has nothing on it. It's simple and it's clear and it's understandable, yet it's so complex and hidden. And you know, the minute you think you got it, you missed it. You know, it didn't just bring about this change in me, it inspired it. I had no want for change until I read this book. It has given me the greatest arguments. I love the arguments of Abraham. I had no insight to this before. Any good argument I have, it stems from there. In this age of overflowing information and knowledge and everybody that has a point of view, it has taught me to discriminate between that which is truth and falsehood. When I fall stagnant and I can't move, it shakes me and it makes me kick into that action that seemed almost impossible. It makes it easy. It has exposed low desires and then it makes them blow in the wind like dead vegetation. It makes me wake up every morning and decide Ahmadiyyat. I don't think that it was something you can do just once. I think it's a decision that I make every day. When I feel those pains in the morning to get up for that prayer, yeah? Or when I'm getting that challenge or that test. It was actually my neighbor who had introduced me to Islam Ahmadiyya. You know, he didn't get into my face about it. He was a good neighbor. He followed the sunnah of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. He was the best neighbor I had ever had. He did nice things for all of us. He would make us good food. If our cars broke, he would fix them. You know, and he always had good advice. He was a sincere counselor to us. And when he gave me that book, you know, there was those normal inclinations like, oh, here we go, right? But because I liked him so much and I felt that he was sincere, I read it. And it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. As you all know, it didn't say if you do bad things, you're going to hell. It said this is why we do good things. They're good for us on a physical level, a moral level, and a spiritual level. You know, people ask, you know, if I've seen the signs, right? Did I get those signs? Did I get those dreams? I did. But I tell you this, by following what the promised Messiah has said and following the diction of the Holy Quran, these things have continued to increase since I've become an Ahmadi. And therefore, I would say that these things are a gift for all of you. You know, anybody who wants to convert to Islam Ahmadiyya, even if you were born into it, my friends, it's not too late. While I have the mic, I'd like to thank everybody for all the things they've done for me so far. And I've enjoyed getting to know all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.